Welcome to the Getting Started presentation for age 12 to 14. You have made an excellent academic decision for your child by choosing Moving Beyond the Pages' rigorous and engaging program. This presentation will help you make the most of your school year. It is loaded with information that will be extremely useful for a new user of Moving Beyond the Page. Moving Beyond the Page will provide you and your child with an engaging educational experience that encourages critical thinking and creativity. This may be why you chose Moving Beyond the Page to begin with. But now that your living room floor has 71 books and manipulatives spread all over the floor, you may be wondering just how to get started. Moving Beyond the Page is different than a traditional program, but it is easy to implement and is flexible to work around your schedule once you understand how it is structured. We are going to walk you through organizing your books and curriculum, give you an overview of how the curriculum is structured, and provide tips on how to plan your year and your individual days with Moving Beyond the Page. The age 12 to 14 level is 1 year of academic instruction. The year is divided into 2 semesters. Each of these semesters is comprised of 5 science units, 5 social studies units, and 5 language arts units. Each of these units has about 10 lessons and a final project. That may sound like a lot to keep track of, but all you need to know is this. Do 3 lessons each day. 1 lesson from science, 1 from social studies, and 1 from language arts. If you have been using Moving Beyond the Page in the past, you may notice that in our middle school levels, we expect children to work from all 3 subject areas each day instead of just 2 areas, like in our younger levels. At the beginning of the year, you will start with 3 different units that are Concept 1, Unit 1. These are for science, social studies, and language arts. When you finish the 3 Unit 1s, then you move on to Unit 2. There is no calendar of days that you have to check. Each day, you simply move on to the next lesson. If your child is sick or if you go on a field trip, you just pick up where you left off. It is very simple and flexible. If you do this, you will finish the age 12 to 14 level in 1 academic year. We have also built a few buffer days into each unit, and this gives you the freedom to spend extra time on a lesson, schedule a field trip, or just deal with the inevitable changes that happen with life. Moving Beyond the Page gives you the flexibility to work homeschooling around your life without making you feel behind if you need to take a day off. You are not tied into a specific daily calendar. Now that you know how the curriculum is structured, let's get back to that pile of 71 books and manipulatives spread around your living room floor. Each of the 2 semesters has 5 science units, 5 social studies units, and 5 language arts units, some required literature, and some manipulatives. You may want to take a few minutes and organize your books by semester. To do this, you can either use your packing slip or the age 12 to 14 at a glance link at movingbeyondthepage.com/getting-started. Either of these methods will show a list of semesters and how the units tie in together, and the literature that is included in each one. Now that you have your year of curriculum organized, we are ready to look a bit deeper at the curriculum itself. In the first semester, there are 3 units labeled as Unit 1. These 3 units of science, social studies, and language arts comprise your first 3.5 to 4 weeks of curriculum. Moving Beyond the Page is the only curriculum available anywhere that lines up the science and social studies topics with language arts from the beginning of elementary through the end of middle school. This will help your child to see more connections in the world around him instead of seeing subjects in isolation. You can refer to the age 12 to 14 at a glance page mentioned earlier for a complete list of how the units in this level line up together. Now we are going to switch gears and look at the lessons themselves. To do this, we will be looking primarily at the literature unit called Abigail Adams. The science and social studies units are structured in essentially the same way, so once you see how the literature unit is structured, you will also be able to use the science and social studies units as well. If you are using the online curriculum, you can follow along. Just select and activate the first language arts units called Abigail Adams. Everything we will be looking at in the hard copy version is also available to you in the online version. Let's start by looking at the table of contents. Each unit is about 3.5 weeks long. This unit has 12 lessons and a final project. Notice that some of the lessons are labeled as either 2 or 3-day lessons. Curriculum at this level is student-directed. This means that the primary curriculum is written for your student to be able to follow along and direct his own day. You should always be available as a resource, but you should not have to teach the lessons to your students. If this is your child's first experience with a student-directed curriculum, don't expect him to be independent on day 1. It may take a few weeks before he gets the routine down. Notice on the table of contents that there is a parent overview section that contains an overview for each lesson. The parent overview sections provide you with descriptions of each activity, answer keys, and suggestions for further exploration. If you are using the online version of the curriculum, you can just click the link that says Turn On for the parent overview. This will cause the parent overview sections to display within the lessons as you view them. If you have more than one computer, iPad, or smartphone, you can turn the parent overview on for your computer and leave it off for your child's computer. If you and your child use the same computer, you just have to remember to turn it off when you're finished. Before you start a unit, you should check the required books and materials page and make sure that you have access to all of the materials needed for the next 3.5 weeks. Many families find that it is helpful to keep a box or crate with all of the materials gathered for the unit in one place. This saves you from having to take time each day or even during a lesson to gather materials. Many of these items you will already have around your house, but there may be other items you need to purchase. Most items can be found in common stores like a Walmart or a craft store. If you are using the online version of the curriculum, you should also download and print the student activity pages and reading and questions pages for the unit. If you do this from the table of contents page, you will have all of the pages you need for the next 3.5 weeks ready to go before you even get started. If you need individual student activity pages later, you can print them from within the unit. Each lesson is presented in an easy-to-use format with a student plan and a parent overview. You should review the parent overview section each day before your child begins the lesson. You may even want to review the student plan as well, but it is written so that you shouldn't have to. Each student plan opens with an introduction that will get your child started on the day. After the introduction section is a materials list that shows the student activity pages that are needed, as well as general materials. Since you have already gathered these materials before starting this unit, your child should have quick and easy access to these items. Ideas to think about are questions related to the concept and ideas in each unit. These are not questions that your child needs to answer each morning, but they are conceptual understandings that your child will gain through the lesson. The lesson will help your child to explore and answer these big questions so that her understandings of the concept are reinforced. The Things to Know section should be thought of as memory work. This section will outline the knowledge and vocabulary that your child will learn or memorize in the curriculum. Each unit has a review sheet that summarizes the things to know for each unit. This should be used as a quick daily overview. It is not necessary to memorize every definition word for word, but your child should be exposed to the vocabulary in the lesson and in other situations. Activities and reading and questions are the primary component of the Moving Beyond the Page lessons. Most lessons include 2 or 3 activities for your child to engage in. Activities can include activity pages from the student activity book, web links and videos, or hands-on learning experiences, such as creating posters or conducting science experiments. Some activities have options, and these are called differentiated activities. These let you tailor your child's experience to either his academic ability or his personal interest. When an activity has 2 options, simply review the activity and decide with your child which one he should do. Moving Beyond the Page is a literature-based curriculum, so there are a number of reading and questions assignments. The language arts curriculum will include a reading and questions section almost every day. This section will outline the day's reading and then ask some questions related to the reading. Some of the questions will be reading comprehension questions, but others are designed to help your child think critically about the text, determine a character's motive, or think of alternative solutions to a problem. Our goal is for children to become strong readers and critical thinkers. Since this is a student-directed curriculum, the reading and questions sections are in line with the curriculum. We didn't want to force children to look all over a book for these pages. The structure is simple and easy to follow. Your child can just write his answers directly into the book. The lesson will end with a conclusion that often involves summarizing ideas presented in the lesson and asking your child to explain what he has learned. Now that you are familiar with the structure of the curriculum and the structure of the lessons themselves, let's take a look at what a typical day might look like. You will spend about 3 to 3.5 hours implementing Moving Beyond the Page. It is a good idea to begin or end with about 10 minutes of review using the review sheet available with your curriculum or available as a download on our website at movingbeyondthepage.com/getting started. Moving Beyond the Page covers science, social studies, and language arts, so you will also need a separate math program as well. Don't be surprised if it takes a few weeks or even up to a month for your child to get used to a student-directed curriculum. After the first unit, or maybe 2, he should have the process figured out and will probably begin to appreciate the autonomy he will receive with a student-directed curriculum. Moving Beyond the Page will give you the framework for a fabulous year of learning. We hope your child learns a lot, grows as a thinker and a creator, and has a lot of fun in the process. If we can be of any help, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. And happy homeschooling.